Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to you. I hope that you are doing very well. You are actually safe at home if you are at home. All right. If you need to go somewhere, please protect yourself with sanitizer and please don't forget to wear your mask. Okay. So yesterday we did about listening, right? We did about listening, and we actually covered part one and part two, right? So we did cover on part one only, but today we will be doing the rest of other parts, which are the part two, part three, and part four. All right. So for the next part two, three, and four, the audio will be a little shorter than the first part that we listened to yesterday. All right. So today we'll be continuing with part two. Okay. Now let's try and have a look at the questions. Okay, I'm just going to start straight away. I'm going to just lay it on the table for you. All right. Now, yesterday we went and looked for keywords for part one. Now, today we are going to be doing the same thing. We are also going to apply the same technique as well, which was the R2KE. I hope you still remember if you were in my class before when we did for your reading paper, right? So we did use this technique R2KE. So you read, right? You read twice and keyword and eliminate. Okay, we are going to apply this technique R2KE. All right. Hi, No Fatiha. Nice of you to join us. I hope you are well today. All right. So let's get started with part two today. I hope that you have your pens and pencil and a piece of paper with you as well. All right. So let's see. We are going to continue with question 8. All right. And so for this part, we will cover up until question. How many questions do we have? Question up until question 15. All right. So you will have roughly 8 questions, right? 8 questions for your part 2. All right. So here we go. Firstly, we have to listen to some words that the speaker is saying. Now, this is where you have to listen to one informational or informative monologue. Okay, and this is regarding a person whose name is Anna, and she came up with, okay, roughly we can see from the next question, it's an app. Okay, so Anna and app. Okay, now we now know that the answer options that you have, okay, didn't start the company. Okay, didn't start the company, but she manages it now. Okay, there's a difference. And when it comes to B, started the company and manages it now. Okay, started and manages it now. Or C, started the company but doesn't manage it anymore. Now, when you see these keywords or these words highlighted, okay, like I said yesterday, the answer won't be as what you expected. You know, some of us will expect a word that is exactly the same, but you have to know that some of the keywords can be in a form of a synonym. All right, can be in a form of synonym, or it can also be in a form of examples as well. Okay, examples, it can be that as well. So these will be as your keywords or your key points to listen to. Okay, so now we already know the words. Okay, didn't start but manage, and B says started and manage, and C says started but doesn't manage. So you have got to listen to the either the synonyms or either the examples provided. All right, they won't give you a direct answer. So this is what it means by implicit meaning or implicit words. So you got to find it yourself. Okay, but we are going to do this together, so don't worry. All right, now let's see the next question. The app. And the app says, okay, for A, it says, is for parents to learn from. Now, I highlighted the word parents. Is it for parents to learn from? Is it for parents? Or is it for students to learn from? Right? Or C says C is for students who want to find a tutor. Okay, there's a difference of the keyword here. Parents, students, and this one students, but with a purpose. Okay, this one is provided with a purpose. Okay, so what do we have to find here? What do we have to find? We have to find what the app is all about. Okay, what the app is about. Okay, so this is your question to ponder. Okay, so you got to find out what's the app about and who is it for. So now we know it's for, right? It's for the parents or the students to find a tutor. Now this one with a purpose. Okay, now let's take a look at the next question. Are you okay so far? Are you okay so far? Yes? No? If you have any questions, if you feel like you don't understand how we can do this, you can always post your query, you can always post your questions in the room chat. Okay? Teacher will guide you as best as possible. Okay. Because today is the last day, all right? And as you all know, your listening paper will be on the 21st February. Right? So you have to get yourself really prepared for this particular skill. All right, move on to next question. Question 10. Okay, now question 10 focuses on many parents. Okay, so you got to locate parents. You got to find out from the audio itself what parents have to do or what are they about to do, right? Like in this case, for A, don't have time or knowledge to help with their children's homework. Okay, so the clue or the keyword for you to locate is don't have time or knowledge about this one, about the children's homework. Okay, so this one is focuses on having no time. Okay, this one focuses on having no time and knowledge. Okay, no time and knowledge for the children's homework. Now B, what does B say? Okay, what does B say? Here, think that school should help with the children's homework. Now, many parents think that the school should help with children's homework. Okay, so what you have to look for, what you have to search or locate in the audio is school. Okay, school should help with children's homework. Okay, school help children's homework. And C says don't want to help with their children's homework. Okay, many parents don't want to help with their children's homework. Okay, so we have to highlight or underline. Okay, don't want to help children's homework. Okay, so now we know. First one is talking about no time and knowledge, and the second one mentioned about school. Okay, school should help. School should help. All right, school help homework. Okay, this is our keywords. Next one, parents no help. What child's or children's homework. Okay, we can also use this way as well because this is just listening. This is not writing. Okay, we can use whatever short short forms, right? You love to use short forms, right? So homework, something like this. Okay, so we can cut short our time as well. Now for question 11, again, it's regarding the app. It's regarding or it's about the app. So A is asking you, has student exercises on it? So this app provides exercises. And B and B says is only for people in remote areas. Okay, people, remote areas. Or C says offers live online support for from the tutors. So live, so it offers live online support for, it's actually for students. Okay, for for students actually. Okay, for students from tutors. Okay, so again, these are your key points or your key words to listen to. Okay, maybe the person might say about remote areas, maybe the person might say about exercises, maybe the person will say live online support. So keep that in your mind. Okay, keep that in your mind. So then you will kind of like think to yourself, oh, I think this is the best one. Okay, but you have to listen to it again in order for you to know that it's the most accurate one. Okay, now let's see for the next question. Okay, question 12. On the app, tutors who live in remote areas often charge lower rates or often charge higher rates or don't like to work much. Okay, so let's try and highlight. So on the app, tutors who live in remote areas. So the person will say something about this. Tutors who live in remote areas and something. Are they charged at lower rates or are they charged at higher rates or don't like to work? Okay, don't like to work. These are your key points to locate in the audio. All right. So now we know this is the key. These are the keywords for question 12. Now moving on to question 13. Again, it's about the app. It's about the app and is it new? Okay, so the word is new and not many people know about it or is already popular or is not very successful. So these are, again, your key points to search. Okay, so let's see. So here we have the word. It's new and not many people know about it. And it's already popular. Again, remember, keywords here, they can be similar. Okay, so when something is similar, they can be in synonyms, or they can also be examples. Okay, they can also be in an example form. So listen really carefully. This is where your vocabulary comes in. You have to really know what are other synonyms for this word. Maybe the person might not say new. Maybe the person might say it's recently launched, right? It's recently launched. So can you guess what it's trying to tell you here, right? So roughly we can get the idea there. Now let's focus on the last two questions. Okay, what kind of future plans? What kind of future plans do Anna has for the app? So now we know that this question focuses on future plans. Is it to expand a range of services? Is it to expand? Okay, maybe that's quite long. So expand services, or look for more funding. Okay, to find more to find more money, right? Maybe to find more money. Okay, so that's another word for you. Maybe the person might say, we want to find more money. So find more money. It could be look for more funding. And next one, develop a new app. So is she going to develop a new app, a different new app? So now we know these are the key points that we got to find. Okay, last one. The app is available for Android devices only, or it's available for Apple and Android devices, or only Apple devices. Okay, so we have to know whether it's available for these types of devices. Okay, now I would like to point out, when you listen to a one long monologue, you have to know that some of the questions may not be in the arrangement that you expect. Like, okay, maybe like the first part, it's talking for question 8 and 9. And then in the middle part, talking about question 10 to 11, or maybe up until 12. Then in the last part, it will focus on 13, 14, 15. Not really. Okay, you got to know that you have to try and locate all of the keywords first before you start to try out the questions. Okay, that's what you got to do first of all. So when you get your paper, if you are given a few times or to flip your question paper, and you are allowed to read and understand the questions given to you, then it's good enough that you have a little idea about what the questions will be, or what the question will ask you about. Okay, so then when we listen to it for the first time, we can jot down keywords. We can try and write keywords, right? So like yesterday, we did, right? We did for part one, we wrote something. Okay, for this question, okay, we wrote something. Now for next question, we wrote something, right? So today we are going to be doing that again. Okay, are you ready to listen? I hope that you are. Okay, so let's try and have a listen track to the track here for your part 2. Okay, I hope that you are ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Can you please type something? Okay, thank you, No Fatiha. How about the others? Are you all ready? Okay, all to you, handsome lads. Are you ready? I hope you are. Okay, now let's listen.
Part 2. Questions 8 to 15. You will hear to the business interview. For questions 8 to 15, circle the correct answer, A, B or C. You will hear each recording twice. Answer all the questions.
Welcome.
Okay. Before that, I need to know, can you listen to the audio? Can you listen to the audio? Is it clear enough for you? Or is it loud enough for you? Remember yesterday, in order for it to be loud, you have to put the volume on your device quite high. Yeah? Okay, so put on loud volume. Okay? So let's try and
Business interview. For questions 8 to 15, circle the correct answer, A, B or C. You will hear each recording twice. Answer all the questions.
Welcome to today's show. We are very happy to have Ana Oliveira as our guest today. Ana is the creator and founder of Homeworks, spelled with an X, we should note, an app which helps teenagers with their homework. Thanks for coming in, Ana.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about your app. How does it work?
Well, teenagers and their parents have numerous challenges when it comes to homework these days. In many families, both parents work and don't have much available time to help their kids with their homework. And even if they do have time to help, they may not be able to offer support with the content. What I mean is, they may not know or at least remember enough in any given subject to support.
You mean they might not be able to remember complex maths or might have never studied certain subjects, such as biology or economics themselves?
Exactly. So they might want to support their children with their homework, but have neither the time nor the knowledge to do so.
I see. So the app helps solve this problem?
Yes, and more. The next issue is that tutors can be expensive, and there may be long waiting lists for specialist tutors in the town or region you live in. Our Homeworks app brings students and tutors together online. Students can search a database of pre-approved tutors and sign up for live online support. They don't need to be in the same town or city.
That sounds really great.
It is, and this approach also enables us to offer the tutoring services at lower prices, because there's no travelling time involved for the tutor to get to the student's home. And tutors who live in remote areas are happy to get access to more students and be able to work from home, even at lower rates.
This all sounds great. So how did you come up with the idea?
Well, as you might guess, I was one of those parents I described earlier. I really wanted to help my son with his homework, but I was either too busy with work or I didn't actually know anything about the subjects he was having difficulty with. Also, we live in an area where there aren't many tutors, and the ones that are there are either very expensive or have long waiting lists.
Yes, I can understand your predicament. Well, it sounds like a very useful app that is clearly meeting a need, and its popularity obviously speaks for itself.
Thank you.
So, do you have plans for the future?
We've just secured some funding and hope to expand the range of services we offer using the app.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks again for coming in. That was Ana Oliveira, founder of the tutoring app Homeworks, with an X, don't forget, which is available for both Apple and Android devices. Join us again next week for another business interview. Have a great week, everyone.
Okay, so how was the the whole sound? How was it clear enough for you? Yeah. Anybody try to attempt the questions? Anybody tried? Did anybody try? Yes? No? Okay. Maybe, for the first time when you listen to it, it's like, oh no, why is this like so difficult? Why are the words or even the accent is a little difficult? Okay. This is just to allow you to try out to listen to native speakers. And because I am just, to give you at least an idea how native speakers will speak. Now, yesterday, we know that there are few accents. And you are lucky enough if you get people from the UK, right? What if there are people from the UK, but they have accents, like maybe a French accent? Like even we stay in Malaysia here now, we do have our accents, I can say. Like I myself, I'm from Terengganu. So whenever you try and speak a Malay, then you have that kind of like the accent and the words that you say. It's not slangs. We don't call slangs. We call dialects, right? We call dialects as well, right? So it's different. So you can see the Cantonese will speak different, the Perak people speak different, right? So again, it's the same thing for this part too. Okay, so we have to try and adapt to the whole native speakers speaking. Okay, now anybody tried to guess maybe question A or question 9, 10, and 11? Anybody tried? Did anyone try? Yes? No? Have you got any clue like for these 4 questions? Or maybe these 4 questions? Yeah, maybe you can have a read first. Okay, maybe you can make a guess which one is the is the best or the right one. Okay? Yeah. I hope that you have. Or if you think that it's a little difficult, it's okay. It's okay because you get to listen to the audio again. Okay, now you ready to listen to the audio again? Yeah? Are you ready? I hope you are ready. Okay, now let's take a look at the previous questions. Okay, so firstly, I would like you to try and find out for what? Okay, for the first one, for question number 8. Now the person says about she is the founder, right? She is the founder of the app. And when you say she is a founder, right? When you say she is a founder, so what can we assume here? What can we think about it here? Um, is she working for the company? I guess that um, A is considered wrong already. When you are a founder, you have developed the company from the start, right? So A, I would cross it out. Okay, so if you can identify it that way, okay, then we can cross it out. Okay, we are applying the technique of R2KE. Okay, so we now know that she is a founder. So we are removing this, we are eliminating this. So A is out. Then we are left with B and C. Okay, so started the company, but is she managing the company or doesn't manage it anymore? So that's where we can listen to it again and find the accurate one. Okay, And then for question number 9, now the app says something about parents, and the app says something for students as well, right? But for this question, okay, for this question focuses on whether for parents to learn from, or whether for students to learn from, or whether for students to have a purpose, who want to find a tutor. Okay, so we got another chance to listen to the audio. Okay, now next one, many parents, they don't have time and knowledge, or they think that school should help. Did the person mention anything about school? Did anyone catch any school from the person just now, from Anna just now, or maybe from the interviewer just now? Okay, they might be. Okay, they might be. Or is it talking about the parents not wanting to help the children's homework? Okay, we can try and identify it again. Okay, and about the app, has students exercises? She mentioned that. Did she mention that? Okay, we'll take another chance to listen to. Okay, is it for people in remote areas, or is it offering support for students? Okay, for students. Okay, sorry, I left a word out here, for students from tutors. Okay, now let's hear it again. Okay.
Devices. Join us again next week for another business interview. Have a great week, everyone. Welcome to today's show. We are very happy to have Ana Oliveira as our guest today. Ana is the creator and founder of Homeworks, spelled with an X, we should note, an app which helps teenagers with their homework. Thanks for coming in, Ana.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about your app. How does it work?
Well,
Okay, I will pause it there. Okay, in the beginning, right? In the beginning, the person actually saying she is the founder and she is the manager, right? Did she mention that? Oh, sorry, did he mention that? You want to try and listen to it again? Yeah. Okay, maybe somewhere there. Okay.
Have plans for the future?
we've just secured some funding and hope to expand the range of services we offer using the app.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks again for coming in. That was Ana Oliveira, founder of the tutoring app Homeworks, with an X, don't forget, which is available for both Apple and Android devices. Join us again next week for another business interview. Have a great week, everyone.
Now, students, I know that you are not seeing any questions up here. Now, is it possible if I played it on another player? And please provide me a feedback. Okay, please provide me a feedback whether you can listen to it on another player. Okay, please provide me a feedback. All right. Okay, so I will play it now, and I hope that you can provide me your feedback. Okay. Okay, so how was it? Did you get to listen to it properly? Yes? No? Okay, I'm not getting any feedback, so I hope that your silence means that you are all okay at this time. So now let's try and locate the answers. Okay, let's try and find out the answers here. Okay, for question 8. Now, Firstly, the person says she is the co-founder and also she's a manager as well, right? She manages it, and we can roughly identify the answer already. Okay, because here stated that started a company but doesn't manage it anymore. She is still managing it, right? Therefore, C will be the wrong one. Okay, and we are now left with the answer B. So if you got your answer B, well done to you. Now, moving on to question number 9. Now, the app, is it for parents to learn from or is it for students to learn from? Now, remember, the app is homeworks, spells with an X, right? So is it for parents to do homework or is it for students to do homework? Okay, definitely it's not for parents to do homework. No, parents have got their jobs, right? So A is consider wrong one. So we eliminate it. Then we are left with students. So is it for students to learn from or is it for students who want to find a tutor? And again, the person says there are tutors available, right? And the parents, they don't have time as well to try and guide their children, right? So we can assume here that C will be the most accurate one. Okay, and definitely when you as a student as well, you want to find a tutor who can give you the best guidance possible when it comes to, like right now you're asking for your SPM, right? So when it comes to your studies, definitely you want to find the right tutor as well, right? So for this particular part, it focuses on students finding a tutor. So if you got your answer C just now, well done to you. Okay, now let's come back to question 10. Now, many parents. Now, like I said before, our clue just now, okay, where we scribbled just now, for question 10. Okay, for question 10, now we know, right? We highlighted just now. We also concise it, can say. So no time and knowledge in school will help with the homework and stuff. And parents don't want to help the children's with the children's homework. Okay, now come back to this one. Okay, so question 10. Now, many parents don't have time or knowledge to help with the children's homework. Could be, it could be. Now, B is a thing that school should help. Like I said before, did she mention anything about school? I didn't hear any. Okay, so we can remove this one. So B is out. Okay, so B is out. And C. Now, C says about don't want to help with children's homework. Okay, I don't think this is the most accurate one of all. Right, so we can remove this, and now we are left with the answer of A. So if you got your answer A, well done to you. Okay, now moving on to question 11. Now, the app has students' exercises on it, or is it for people in remote areas? Could be, or offers live online support for students. Hmm. Did she mention anything about exercises? Did Anna mention anything about exercises? Yes or no? I didn't hear any. Right? We already highlighted that before. So there isn't any word that is similar as well to exercises. Okay, so now we can remove this one, right? And again, B. Now B is only for people in remote areas. Now think about it. Is it for people in remote areas, in those areas where you are far from the city? Is it? No, it's for everybody. It's for all students, right? It's for all students. It's not just particularly focused on the people in remote areas. No, right? When you see the word here, for people in remote areas. So they don't mention that. No. So we can roughly know that the answer would be C. Okay, so we got to find the most appropriate one as well here. Although you may think that, okay, B may be the right one, but think about it. Is it only for remote areas? I don't think so. Okay, now let's move on to the next four questions. Okay, now here it says on the app, tutors who live in remote areas, okay, they will be given, they will be given what? They can work from home, right? They can work from home, where Anna says that they can travel, right? They can travel, and they can also work at a distance, right? They can work at a distance, or they they can be happy when they are working from home, right? With the COVID and everything. So we can see that in this question focuses on first two about the rates and don't like to work much. Now C sounds ridiculous already. Okay, tutors who live in remote areas don't like to work much. No, it's nothing about telling tutors don't like to work much. No. So it's either lower or higher rates. Now, when you listen to the audio just now, did she mention anything about higher rates or higher price or higher costs? Did she mention that? No, she did not. She mentioned, and she keeps on repeating again with this word, lower rates. So we can roughly know that the answer for this is A. Okay? How are you all doing so far? Are you all okay? Any questions? Or you find it a little bit puzzled to you? You find it confusing? Yes or no? Can you at least type something in the room chat so then I know that you are a bit uncomfy with the whole listening thing? Okay, but if you are my shy bunch, again, I keep calling a few of my students, shy bunch. If you are a shy bunch, um, then that's you. Okay, I'm trying my level best to try and guide every one of you. Okay, so here, let's just proceed with the next question. Now the app, is the app new and not many people know it? Could be. It could be. Okay, it could be. It could be new. It could be that not many people know about it, or it could be already popular. But could it also be not very successful? I don't think so. Why? Because she has been interviewed by someone. So when you are being interviewed by someone, you can actually, try and make a guess already, make a just a rough guess, right? It's nothing to do with not being successful. So we can remove this one. So now it's either these two. Is it new? Is it new and not many people know about it? But she did mention, or he did mention, okay, precisely, he did mention about popularity. Okay, he did mention about popularity. Okay, popularity speaks for itself. So now we know that the word here, right, the word here that we have to know right now is popular. And We can predict the answer already, which is B. So the app is already popular. All right. Now moving on to question 14. What kind of future plans? Okay, we already highlighted that before. Okay, so we have got to find the future plans. She did mention about range of services. She did mention that. She also mentioned, okay, she also mentioned about funding. But did she mention about developing a new app, a different new app? Did she mention that? No, she did not. Unfortunately, no. She's not developing a new app. So now we are left with these two, 50-50 chance. She already said secured. Okay, she already said secured. Secured what? Okay, now if you want to listen to the audio track again, I don't mind playing it. Okay, maybe we have a listen to it together for this last part. All right, now let's listen to the last part. Okay, okay, so just now she mentioned about having range of services and also funding. So she's not developing a new app. No, definitely not. Right? So now we can roughly see for this word here, whether to expand or to look for more funding. Okay, like I said before, the keyword can either be a synonym or it can also be an example as well. Okay, now in this case, we have got to look for the synonyms, okay, whether to expand or was it to look for more fundings. Okay, so this person says secured. All right, so she has already secured funding. Okay, so she has already secured her funding, so she's not looking for more, she's not searching, or she's not trying to find more money for her app or for her company on doing this app. No, she's not, right? So we now know that we are left with the only option here, which is A. Okay, to expand range of services. Okay, we can remove B already. She's not looking for more money. Okay, now last one. This is very easy one. The app is available for, right? The person was saying it's available on these devices. Sorry. Okay, it's available on these devices, Apple and Android devices. So if you have got all 8 correct, well done to you. Okay, right. Now, just before we proceed with the next part, which is your part 3 and part 4, just a quick check, everybody. Now, a quick check. Please try to listen attentively before answering any question. Now, how can we try and listen to the track attentively? Okay, what I always do, okay, I'm sure that you are not allowed to bring any equipments with you, right? So what you have to do is you have to try and just imagine, okay? Just imagine that you are in the audio itself. Okay, just try and close your eyes and imagine that you are together with the speakers as well, and you are just the listener at that time. Okay, that's what I do. Okay, that's what I do. I will shut my eyes and then I will be in the moment where they are speaking. Okay, and I'll be the listener only. Okay, or the other way, what I do is I will just close my ears. Okay, I will just shut my ears and not listen to any interferences. Like what sort of interferences that you might have? Maybe someone pulling a chair, or someone is writing on the table with bracelets. Right? Maybe girls, they have bracelets, and then yeah, they are writing down their answers. So that could be your inferences, right? Or someone's walking as well, right? The examiner may be walking towards the candidates, right? So just ignore all of that, right? Ignore all of that and just shut your eyes and think that, okay, I'm going to listen to this. So that's where we can pay attention. It's like when you are listening to your music, right? When you are listening to your music, you always will try and be in that moment, right? Although that is the first time that you listen to it, maybe like your favorite artist, and this artist just came out with new music, right? New music, new single. So how you can try and do this, right? You will feel the melody, right? You will feel the melody, and then you will start singing, but you don't roughly get the idea of the whole lyrics. So what do you have to do? You will find the lyrics either on Google, or if you have Spotify, then Spotify already provided you with the lyrics, right? So it's the same thing like how we can apply for listening tests here too. Okay, the first time that you listen to it, just get the whole melody. Okay, although there's no melody, just try to get the melody and just try and listen to what the person is saying for the first time. Okay, if you feel like you are grasping something, okay, you got something, then at the same time you can try to jot down your key points. And towards the second time that you listen to, then only you start to scribble. Okay, this one is wrong. Okay, out. Okay, let's see. Okay, I only left with two options. So which one? Okay, since you have jot down your key points, then only you can find the right one. You can make the best shot. Okay, so that's just a few things that I would apply for my listening test, or for me to listen to a new song, okay, and just sharing with you on how we can listen attentively. All right. Now moving on to the next one, always identify and highlight the keywords or the key points, or whatever that is helpful for you to attempt answering the questions. And please do not write your answers quickly, because they might be silly ones like a spelling or numbers. It might be different than the first time the speaker is saying. All right. And always check every blanks. Please make sure that you fill in all the blanks. Make sure that you fill in all your answers. Okay, now we are going to take a break for 5 minutes, and I will see you back here at 10:20 at least. Okay, at 10:20, just around 5 minutes. All right, and we'll begin with part three and part four. All right, so see you, and please come back for the next one. Okay. Hi, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you feel refreshed right now. Okay, because we are going to move on to our last part of this listening test, this listening paper. Okay, how is how are you all? Are you all okay? I hope that you are okay. Now we are moving on to our last lesson, and we are going to be doing our listening again, which is for part three and part four. So what we're going to look at today, same thing too. We are going to try and look at the tips and tricks on how you can listen attentively for the content. And also we are going to be doing some practice questions. Okay, practice questions. And like I tell you before, the audio tracks is not as long as the one that you listened to before, which is for part one, where you need to listen to at least 7 or 8 people talking in 7 to 8 different situations. Okay, so let's just proceed. Now, the requirements. So for your part three, you will be given 5 matching questions of short monologues. Remember, a monologue is a long speech by a person. Okay, it's detailed and there's no like a dialogue where you need someone else. It's like a conversation. So for this part here, you have to listen to five people talking, and this is 5 marks. And for your part four, you are given a 10 gap questions. Okay, there is one long text, but you got to fill up with 10 words. And please remember, read the instructions. It says there already. Okay, please read the instruction. So here you are given a dialogue, whether it's an interview or it can also be just a long conversation from someone. All right. Now moving on to the tips and tricks. So first of all, I mentioned for part one and part two before, even yesterday, do not lose attention when you are listening to the audio. Okay, it's very important for you to listen to the content itself. Although that you feel like it should be straightforward, but it could be straightforward if you are given an easy speaking people, maybe, right? But please try not to lose attention, especially for the content, right? And focus on the key points, not how they say it. Okay, don't mind the whole accent or the whole dialect. Don't mind that. Okay, just listen to the key points. So where when we can find this in the questions and the answer options given. Okay, so please ask yourself always, what is the speaker trying to tell me? Okay, remember just now before the break, I mentioned about you listening to your music, right? So you may ponder on, okay, what is this person trying to tell me, right? Is it about a love song, or is it a breakup song, or you may be wondering about that too, right? So again, it's just the same application, and just put it onto your listening tests. And next one, please do not write answers too quickly. Okay, listen for some um, some information that might be confusing. Okay, so please don't write the answers too quickly. And then please also remember to check for similar words. These are the key word where it could be a synonym as well. If you can predict what it means straight away, then that's excellent already. Then moving on to the next one, don't randomly write the answers down. This is very important. Please check for any silly spellings, right, or silly way of mentioning the numbers, especially those two information. It's relevant enough when you are listening for the content. And please, last bit, okay, the last part of the whole paper, please cross check your answers. Always do this. Okay, always double check, triple check, or how long you are given to check, then please take all that time to cross check your answers. Now let's get started with the question. Now I will show you the sample first. Okay, so this is a sample question, and these are what you have to do. So first of all, read the instructions. And here you are given questions from 16 to 20. And you will hear 5 short extracts in which people talk about habits they find difficult to control. And what you have to do for this questions, you got to choose from the list of A to G. So these are your answer options. So from A until G. And you got to only use the letters once. And for these speakers or for these people here. Okay, so we have to listen to 5 speakers or 5 people talking about habits they find difficult to control. Then you try and figure out, okay, is speaker 1 talking about unhealthy food or doing too much exercise? Okay, we will do that. Okay, we will do that later. Okay, now part 4. So part 4, it will be something like this. Okay, so you will be given a passage or a text, and in this case it's actually about a science experiment, a pitch drop. Now this pitch drop is actually the longest experiment ever, whereby the person has to wait for something like a tar to drop. Okay, it looks like an hourglass. If you know how the hourglass is, it looks something like this. Okay, it looks like an hourglass. Um, yeah, so they will put like a tar. They will put like a tar, and they will just wait for the tar to drop. Yeah, something like that. So once it's dropped, then it's considered a successful experiment. But again, I said it's the longest running. Oops. Okay, it's the longest running that. Okay. So yeah, so this experiment is something like this. So this is what roughly the passage is about. And remember, the instruction says no more than one word for each space. So you have got to find out one word here, here, and so on. Only one word. And it has to be precise. It has to be the most accurate one. And the person will mention it during the whole interview or during the whole conversation. Okay, now let's try and attempt part 3 first. Okay, now before we listen, let's take a look at the questions again, just to be clear for everybody to know how we can try and do this. Again, remember, you are to use the options from the list here, okay, from the list here, and to transfer it to here. And you are to only use the answer option once only. Okay, it cannot be like A and B. No, only use it once and put it here, transfer it here. Okay, and then for the next one, you have to try and jot down some key points. Okay, remember we did that for our part 1 and part 2. So try and listen to the content and find out what consider relevant. Okay, what are considered relevant, or what are considered your main points to be written down for your notes. Okay, now I have spared some time to try and provide something like this for you, so we can do it together. For speaker 1, what are the notes that you can try and locate, try and find from the speaker 1, and the next one for speaker 2, and so on. Okay, now let's try and listen. Okay, let's try and listen to the whole audio, and we can try and find out the key words. Now let's listen. Okay.
Part 3. Questions 16 to 20. You will hear 5 short extracts in which people talk about habits they find difficult to control. For questions 16 to 20, choose from the list, A to G, what each speaker says. Use the letters only once. There are 2 extra letters which you do not need to use. You will hear the recording twice. Answer all the questions.
Speaker 1. It starts as soon as I get home in the early evening. I have a quick snack and then log on to one of my favorite sites. Soon I've filled up my basket with all kinds of things. Whether I actually need any of them is irrelevant, and then head for the checkout. It's all so quick and easy. Sometimes I'm watching TV and there's an ad for a tasty-looking ready meal and I'll log back on for a minute and order that too, though when it's actually delivered it usually turns out to be just junk food and it ends up in the bin.
Speaker 2. I first realized something wasn't quite right when I kept falling asleep at all hours of the day. Getting up around 7 isn't easy when you've been up till 2 the night before, but somehow I never managed to log off until then. There are just so many great sites, particularly news and sports and also shopping, though I rarely end up buying anything. According to a quiz I did, I do seem to have an addiction, though compared to things like overeating I don't think it's a particularly harmful one. I mean, I'm quite fit and unlike some of my colleagues I always get to the office on time.
Speaker 3. I always feel I have to be doing something. I just don't feel right if I'm not working on my fitness level, and the possible long-term effects of that are beginning to concern me. It also affects my life right now in various ways. For instance, I always go to bed late and get up early. I also need bigger meals than less active people, and although I always choose food that's good for me, it can be rather expensive and hard to find in the shops. At least, though, the fact that I go everywhere around town on foot means that I'm never held up by traffic.
Speaker 4. It was on all the time in my parents' home, and it's like that here in my own flat. Usually the same channel, too, because to tell the truth I'm totally hooked on the same kinds of series. It's odd in a way, because most people of my generation spend all their time on the internet, or, in the case of the fitter ones, doing sport every evening and weekend. I know my own lifestyle isn't particularly healthy, though at least nowadays I'm up reasonably early, unlike back in my student days when I often had trouble getting out of bed before noon.
Speaker 5. It's always my intention to set off in plenty of time, but somehow there always seems to be something that holds me up. It may be a job that needs finishing off, an email that has to be answered, or even a TV program that hasn't quite ended. Then I end up literally running to wherever I'm going, always the last to turn up and also often the most stressed one, too. I've tried getting up earlier in the morning so that I have more hours in the day to get everything done, but the lack of sleep just makes me feel tired later on and doesn't help at all.
All right, class, that's a few things that you need to know about the speakers. Okay, now let's try and look at the questions again. Okay, now for the questions, now we can see that for A says eating unhealthy food, and B says doing too much exercise, and C says buying unnecessary items, and D says watching too much television, and E spending too much time online, and F oversleeping, And lastly is arriving late for everything. Now, when you first listen to the audio just now, can you try and catch some ideas on who is talking about what habit? Yeah. Can you try and make a guess? Maybe speaker one is talking about too much television. Was he or she mentioning about watching too much television? Was she or he, watching too much television? Or speaker two talking about oversleeping? Okay. So here is where we always try and make notes. Okay, we can try and make notes. Okay, now when you do the notes, remember just jot down key word, only one word or one phrase if if it's applicable, if it's relevant enough. Okay, so for me, I tried and jot down few words from the speaker. So I will share this with you. Now, speaker one mentioned about having quick snacks, right? Quick snacks. And and he also mentioned about um, log on sites, right? Log on sites, and he will eventually end up in a basket. Okay, so when this one says log on sites and end up basket, so we can say roughly he's buying something online, log on sites, right? Log on sites. So he is buying something online. So maybe I can just write it here, buying online. And he also mentioned about his food, right? Order, order food, order food, and it turns out to be junk food. Okay, turns out to be junk food, and that in the ends up in the bin. So can we roughly know right now which one is the answer? Okay, so which one is the answer? Which one is it? Is it talking about eating unhealthy food? It could be. Okay, so it could be. So maybe we could say this one for speaker one. Right? Maybe this one is for speaker one. Okay, we will just chop. We in Malay slang, right? In the Malay slang, we say we chop this. We chop this for A. Okay. Next one. Did anybody get any idea for speaker two? Anybody get? Anybody got? Anybody had? Wrote something? Okay. Teacher will share it with you. No problem. Okay, now speaker two. Now he or she mentioned about get up early. All right, get up early. And okay, she may sound very fast, but I did get like did not did not manage to log off. Oops. Okay, log off. Okay, did not manage to log off. And she also said about great sites. Okay, so great sites. And she was looking at some news, some sports, shopping. Okay, so she did mention this. Okay, teacher caught that. Okay, caught that. And she also mentioned about an addiction. Okay, she did mention that an addiction. It became an addiction to her, right? With these great sites. So this word is talking about the websites. Okay, websites, online, right? Online, then there are news that she looked at, sports, and also shopping. Okay, so it's an addiction to her. Okay, and then she also mentioned about having arriving at the office. Okay, arrive office on time. Okay, now anybody got any ideas for speaker three? For speaker three? Okay, no? Yes? No? Oh no. Okay, maybe there are a few things that you missed out. It's okay. It's okay. But as long as you have something for this particular person, okay, the speaker here. Now, what I have, um, he was talking about his fitness level. Okay, he was talking about his fitness level, and it's affecting long life. Something, he said something about this. Okay, affecting long life, and he also said about having bigger meal, right? Bigger meal, expensive. Okay, expensive at shops. So you can write as simple as this. Okay, expensive at shops. And what else? He said about traveling just now. So he said he go on foot, right? He go on foot. He prefers to go on foot. Okay, so we can write as simple as this for speaker three, or for the other speakers as well, if you don't feel like writing the whole phrases or the whole sentences out. Or you can also use some short forms. Okay, like the word level here. If you don't want to spend so much time, then you can write your own way, right? Sorry. Then you can write level, something like this. Okay. So next, moving on to speaker number four. What are the key points for speaker four? Now, speaker four mentioned about channels. Okay, teacher got that just now. She mentioned about channels. Okay, channels, and she hooked on some series. Okay, hooked on some series. Okay, and then she said about her lifestyle, right? Her lifestyle not healthy. Okay, lifestyle not healthy. Get up early. Okay, this is what teacher got. Okay, so roughly for speaker four, we can write something like this. Okay, no, there is no uh, uh, um there is no right or wrong, but it's just that for you to try and uh, um write down at least a few ideas for speaker four. Okay, now moving on to speaker five. Now, what speaker five said? What did he say, or what did she say? Teacher got this. Okay, get um get plenty of time. Okay, get plenty of time. Okay, and then I also got always the last to turn up. Now this is a phrasal verb to show that appear. Okay, turn up can be appear. Okay, always the last to turn up, and also try to get up, try to get up early, but eventually tired, right? Eventually he will be tired because lack of sleep. Okay, so we can write something this way. So right now, can you try and make a guess who has, right? Who has these habits? Who has? Who has the habit of this unhealthy food or doing too much exercise or buying unnecessary items or watching too much television or spending too much time online or even oversleeping or arriving late for everything? Can we make a guess now? Or maybe, okay, I can allow you to listen to it again. Now, let's listen to it again, okay? Um, let's hear.
Speaker 1. It starts as soon as I get home in the early evening. I have a quick snack and then log on to one of my favorite sites. Soon I've filled up my basket with all kinds of things. Whether I actually need any of them is irrelevant, and then head for the checkout. It's all so quick and easy. Sometimes I'm watching TV and there's an ad for a tasty looking ready meal and I'll log back on for a minute and order that too, though when it's actually delivered it usually turns out to be just junk food and it ends up in the bin.
Speaker 2. I first realized something wasn't quite right when I kept falling asleep at all hours of the day. Getting up around 7 isn't easy when you've been up till 2 the night before, but somehow I never managed to log off until then. There are just so many great sites, particularly news and sports and also shopping, though I rarely end up buying anything. According to a quiz I did, I do seem to have an addiction. Though compared to things like overeating I don't think it's a particularly harmful one. I mean, I'm quite fit and unlike some of my colleagues I always get to the office on time.
Speaker 3. I always feel I have to be doing something. I just don't feel right if I'm not working on my fitness level, and the possible long-term effects of that are beginning to concern me. It also affects my life right now in various ways. For instance, I always go to bed late and get up early. I also need bigger meals than less active people, and although I always choose food that's good for me, it can be rather expensive and hard to find in the shops. At least, though, the fact that I go everywhere around town on foot means that I'm never held up by traffic.
Speaker 4. It was on all the time in my parents' home and it's like that here in my own flat. Usually the same channel, too, because to tell the truth I'm totally hooked on the same kinds of series. It's odd in a way, because most people of my generation spend all their time on the internet, or, in the case of the fitter ones, doing sport every evening and weekend. I know my own lifestyle isn't particularly healthy, though at least nowadays I'm up reasonably early, unlike back in my student days when I often had trouble getting out of bed before noon.
Speaker 5. It's always my intention to set off in plenty of time, but somehow there always seems to be something that holds me up. It may be a job that needs finishing off, an email that has to be answered, or even a TV program that hasn't quite ended. Then I end up literally running to wherever I'm going, always the last to turn up and also often the most stressed one, too. I've tried getting up earlier in the morning so that I have more hours in the day to get everything done, but the lack of sleep just makes me feel tired later on and doesn't help at all.
Okay, so that's the end of the tracks, and we can try and locate the answers now. So first of all, for speaker one. Now, speaker one, roughly, the ideas that we got just now, quick snacks, he log on sites and end up in a basket, right? And then he ordered food online also, then ends up in the bin. So can we now know what's the answer for this? Okay, maybe I can show you this slide here. Okay, this one is speaker one talking about unhealthy food, eating unhealthy food. It could be, okay, but it could be. But how about, okay, let's try out B, doing too much exercise. Nope, he didn't mention anything about exercise. So not for speaker one. Okay, C, buying unnecessary item. It could be too. Okay, it could be. So we can try and mix and match. Now D, watching too much television. Nope, he didn't say anything about television. Spending too much time online. Did did he mention about how long he spent online? No, I do not think so. So we can remove this. Oversleeping? No, as well. Arriving late for everything? No, as well. So we are now left with either A or C. Now, which one is the most accurate one? Was he talking about eating unhealthy food? He has this habit of eating unhealthy food. I don't think he mentioned this, right? Because we already jot down in our notes just now where he was talking about log on to sites, end up in a basket, right? He's buying online, then he ordered junk food and ends up in the bin. So can we roughly guess that this person is trying to say he is buying unnecessary items? Yeah, if you agree with me, then you are awesome, okay? Because it's nothing to do with eating unhealthy food. This is not his habit. His habit was to just uh, look for some things online, buy online, right? And he also buy food and ends up in a bin. So can we assume that it's unnecessary? Yes. Okay. So now we can say that speaker one is C. Okay. Now let's move on to speaker two. Now speaker two mentioned about speaker two mentioned about what did he mention about? He mentioned about get up early, did not manage to log off, and then he or she was on the great sites, right? And it became an addiction as well. So can we roughly make a decision that speaker two is hmm, is it this? Is it this? Watching too much television? Buying unnecessary item? No, we can remove this one. Okay, doing too much exercise? No. Unhealthy food? No. Watching too much television? No. Okay, is it oversleeping? No. Again, arriving late? No. So now we know that speaker two is talking about spending too much time online because of the word did not manage to log off due to great sites, and it became an addiction to this speaker. Okay, so those are considered our clues for us to know this is the most correct one or the most accurate one. So spending too much time online. Now, speaker number three. Speaker number three was talking about exercise, was talking about his the effects of his life, right? So we can roughly guess that he also likes to go on foot, okay, rather than taking any transportation. So we can see that here it's nothing to do, sorry, it's nothing to do with eating unhealthy food. This is not his habit. Watching too much television, also not his habit. Oversleeping? No. Arriving late for everything? No. So therefore, we now know that we are left with B. So that is our answer for this one, B. Okay. Now, speaker 4. Now, speaker 4 was talking about, okay, so speaker 4 was talking about channels hooked on some series. So when we talk about channels, it's all about TV. Okay, so it's all about TV. So can we now know that it's actually talking about watching too much television? Yes. So if you have this answer, you are terrific. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, so the answer for speaker 4 is D. Okay, moving on to speaker 5. Now, speaker 5 was talking about he was the last to turn up at the office. Although he tries to sleep early, then will he will feel tired, right? He will feel tired because he had a lack of sleep. He has trouble sleeping, so we can say. But was he talking about unhealthy food? No. Was he talking about oversleeping? Did he oversleep? Did he oversleep? Sorry. Did he oversleep? Hmm. Did he oversleep? No, he did not oversleep. So we can remove this one out. Okay, so we can make a cross here and then a cross here as well. And we are now left with G. So this is our answer. Okay, arriving late for everything. Because he mentioned about he was the last to turn up. Okay, so if you all got these answers, well done, a great job for everybody. Okay, now we have a few more minutes, so we are going to attempt our part 4. Okay, our last bit for this paper. Oh, are you all excited? I hope you are. Okay. Let's see questions for this particular part. And please make sure accuracy is the key. Make sure that your word is accurate enough for the examiner to give you a mark of 1 mark. Okay, so please let's listen and try and find out what do they need for the blanks here, for the spaces here. But before that, we got to know what is it looking for. Okay, so how do we know what it's looking for? Again, you can apply the reading techniques. Okay, the reading techniques whereby we skim and we try and scan as well. Okay, first of all, when we skim, we read quickly, and when we scan, we try and find out, okay, it's looking for this word or it's looking for this word, right? So here we go. I managed to do this for you. Okay, trying to cut short of the time. Okay, first of all, here this sentence says, these experiments hold the Guinness World Record for being the longest running. So is it looking for a noun? Okay, we are focusing on the parts of speech here. Okay, we are looking for the part of speech when we are filling in the blanks. Okay, so is it looking for a noun? Okay, a noun is for things, for objects, for places, for people, for animals, all right? So what is it looking for? And sometimes you can actually find it out somewhere along the paragraph or somewhere along the sentences. Okay, yeah, you can roughly make a guess. Oh, I think this one says, just predict one answer. The longest running, I think this is an experiment, so just write down. And for number 2, blank 2, it began in, okay, it might be looking for a particular year when you are talking about in, maybe. Okay, that's why teacher put here question mark. It may be a particular year, or maybe it could be a place as well. Okay, so let's try and do that together once we listen to it. Okay, before that, okay, let's look at blank 3. It's called the something drop experiment. Now, can you find out from this first paragraph here? Can you? Okay, it's not here, right? It's not here, but is it in the title given? Yes, it is. All right, pitch drop. So we can roughly make a guess. Pitch drop experiment. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this pitch drop was done by Professor Thomas Parnell. Wanted to show in this experiment that everyday materials can be quite surprising. So is it a noun that we are looking for? Okay, we'll see. And next one. Okay, so next one. This is another paragraph. When pitch is at room temperature, you can break it something. It's either a verb or it's either an adverb it's looking for. And next, Professor Parnell put pitch into the glass funnel, let it cool, and then turn it something down. Is it looking for an adverb, or is it looking for a preposition, or maybe a noun? I don't know. Okay, it might be looking for something here. It could be upside down, or it could be I don't know, something, right? But for me, I would say maybe turn it upside down, right? We always match it that way, right? Upside down. Okay, then cut off the top. In total, only something drops, right? So we now know that only something drops. Maybe a number it's looking for? We don't know. The next one. The next pitch drop is expected to fall in the something. Is it looking for a noun, or is it looking for a verb? Okay, maybe. All right, and next one. In 1988, the scientist responsible for the experiment missed seeing the pitch drop by something minutes. So we are looking for a number of minutes here. Okay, and the speaker's notes is interesting how news about a slow experiment can spread something, can spread like wildfire, but that's considered two words like wildfire, right? Yeah, two words. Okay, so what is it looking for? Is it looking for an adverb? All right, now let's have a listen first. Okay, so here I'll make it easier for you. So what you can do, you can take a screenshot, okay, in order for you to try and fill in the blanks on your own. Okay, let's try and have a listen to our last part here.
30. You will hear a lecture about a science experiment. For questions 21 to 30, fill in the missing information in each numbered space. Use no more than one word for each space.
All right, so there you go. I hope that you can hear the track while I put this slide on. Okay, I hope also it's well enough for you to listen to, and it's clear enough for you to listen to. Okay, now can we make a rough guess? Can we try and predict our answers? Can we try? Okay, now let's see. The first one. This experiment holds the Guinness World Record for being the longest running. Isn't it experiment? Isn't it experiment? Yes, it is an experiment. It began in, there is a year. Okay, there are quite a few years he mentioned, but when you listen to the whole audio, it falls actually, the first part falls in the intro, and the next part falls in the whole next sentences or in the next phrases, right? So it's continuously helping you as well, for you to fill in the blanks. Now, if you got your answer for experiment here, very good. If you got a year here, 19 something, okay, good. Okay, maybe you just write here, right? You just write here. Okay, this one we know is experiment. And here, if you only catch 19, then good, because you can listen to it for the second time. Okay, 19 something. And score the pitch drop. Okay, we now have our answer already. Okay, let me just write it properly. Okay, pitch drop experiment, where you can take it here. And Professor Thomas Parnell wanted to show in this experiment that everyday materials can have quite surprising what? Okay, maybe if you cannot find out any idea here, never mind. Then move on. Maybe here, when page is at room temperature, you can break it. He said something about easy. So maybe you could write here easy. Okay, and Professor Parnell put pitch into the glass funnel, let it cool, then turn it. Yeah, we got that, right? We got that just now, right? So we can write our answer here already. Upside down and cut the top off, he said, right? So in total, no, he was telling a bit of a story. Then how many drops? Okay, if you can't find any number, it's okay. Not a problem for this first part. Okay, then move on. The next page is expected to fall in the, okay, he said it. Okay, he said it is expected to fall in the 2020. He said that. And in 1988, the scientist responsible for the experiment missing the pitch drop, whereby Thomas Parnell, he passed on, and it was passed on also to another scientist. And how many minutes did you catch that? Okay, it's okay if you didn't catch any. Then moving on to the next one. The speaker's notes is interesting. How news about a slow experiment can spread, he said, about so quickly, right? So quickly. Okay, but we only need to find out one word only. So one word only. So we can remove the word so. Then can spread quickly. All right. Now I'm going to allow you to listen to it again. Okay. And try and find out our answers are accurate or not. All right, so that's our last part of this paper. So now we know that we got the answers already. So if you got around 5 correct, then it's okay as long as you are you have these mark already 5. But if you can find more than that, that is excellent. Okay, it means that you are a very good listener. Okay, so anyway, I will share with you the answers. Okay, so we got our answers already, right? Experiment 1927, the page, and the property or properties. Okay, if you can say or if you can just write property, I think the examiner will say, okay, it means the same thing. All right. And then you will also get, okay, you can break it easily. We don't say we can break it easy. No, easy is suitable for an adjective, right? So in this case, it requires an adverb. Okay, it requires an adverb. Easily, then turn it upside down. And 9, you can either put it into figure, or you can also put it in a spelling form as well. And in the 2020s, and 5, and quickly, or you can say fast too. Okay, so that's all for today. Before we end our session, just a quick check for this particular paper. Please pay attention to the recordings before attempting the questions. Listen and identify key points mentioned. Make sure that you identify and listen really, really, really well. Then predict the answer and always recheck your answers before transferring them to the OMR sheet. Okay. Now, this is our last lesson for the whole English intensive course, and I wish you all the best. And I notice also I'm exceeding over 2 hours already, and again, just to wish you the very best of luck. We can also say break a leg. Okay, so I will see you all again very soon if we have the time with you again. All right, and please stay safe, everybody. And please don't forget to recite your prayer before you enter the exam hall or the exam room. Thank you very much, everybody, for being so wonderful. And Assalamu alaikum. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you so much.